Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about comparing fractions. Now this one is in lines with the same technique of making the denominators common, but sometimes what happens is if you look at your fractions 2/5 and 3/10, look at the denominator. Sometimes you don't have to switch the denominator multiplications, like for example take the 5 and multiply and take the 10 and multiply. So one of the fastest ways to do is it's right here. As you can see, 5 and 10 are multiples of the same fifth table. So if I multiply the first fraction, which is the 2/5, with numerator and denominator 2, what happens is the denominators become 10 in both fractions, and you can quickly do 4 out of 10 and 3 out of 10 and compare and say that 4 is greater than 3. So I showed two methods. The only reason you can do this faster is by looking at the denominators. They fall under same multiplication table, so in this way we can avoid this second step of multiplying 3 times 5 divided by 10 times 5. There's nothing wrong. Again, there's nothing wrong in both the methods. You end up getting the same answer. So you know that 2/5 is more than 3/10, but just a different approach. Now, opposite denominator multiplication is like can be applied regardless of what the fractions are, whether they have something in common already existing in the same multiplication table. We don't have to worry. So you just take, like for example in this example, 3/4 and 5/7. I said opposite denominator multiplication because 4 and 7 never fall under same multiplication table. So you need to swap the multiplications, right? So 3/4 should be multiplied and divided with 7, and 5/7 must be multiplied with 4. In that way you can make common denominator and decide which one is bigger. Now let's take a look at this one. So this question is asking you which place the fractions in ascending order. Ascending order means from small to big, right? And your original fractions are given in blue: 2/3, 5/4, 5/6, and 7/12. Now when you have multiple fractions like this, you still have to figure out a way to get a same denominator. Now 3, 4, 6, and 12. What can we do to make it a common denominator? I can clearly see that I can multiply 3, 4, 6, and 12 with certain numbers so that they all become 12. And 3 times 4 is 12. So that means I have to multiply numerator and denominator with 4, making this as 4 times 2, which is 8. Now you already have 4, so what should you multiply to 4 to make it 12? Yes, 3. 4 times 3 is 12. So 15 divided by 12. And then you have a denominator of 6. What can you do to 6 to get 12? Which is times 2. So multiply and divide both of the numerators and denominators with 2. So 10 over 12. And finally, you already have 12. So 12 times 1 is 12. You don't have to do anything. Times it with 1. So there you go. All the denominators are 12. So it's easy to compare the numerators now. So your smallest fraction is 7/12. Then comes 8 over 12. Sorry, I need to think through this. And then 10 over 12, and then 15 over 12. For a moment, I confused myself. My apologies. Okay, so after all I had to do was, once I have this, I just have to look at the numerators and not to worry about anything else. So in this way, by making the denominator the same, you can quickly decide the numbers in the numerator and say which ones are going from small to big. I hope this is clear. This technique is called making common LCD, lowest common denominator techniques. And in your case, everything has to be turned to 12 because That's the only common multiple for all the tables. Thanks, guys. Thanks again for watching. And if you want, pause and observe the steps so it makes more sense for you. All right. Thanks again. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Bye bye.